I just built an automation inside N8N that automatically scrapes Twitter, analyzes trending ideas using AI, does deep research on those trends, and then generates ideas that I can actually use for content automatically. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to wake up every morning with fresh, well-vetted content ideas. You can see here we have AI trending topics, visual analogy, key analogy. We have the most benefited niches. So it's actually breaking down which niches are going to find the most value. And you guys can grab this template in my free community down below. It even creates hooks for us, identifies target audience, the clear pain points that we're solving. So this is a crazy workflow, but let's get into exactly how we did it. So starting from the left, I have a manual trigger here. We could add a schedule trigger and make this run at 8 a.m. if we wanted to every morning. However, for now, we'll just keep it as a manual trigger. From there, we're setting our search query in a set node, and that's just going to tell us what we're searching for. So are we searching for N8N? Are we searching for AI automation or something more specific? Then we hit the Twitter API using an HTTP request node. This grabs the tweets based on our search queries. Next, we'll aggregate all those tweets into one chunk of data. The reason we do that is just it makes it easier for OpenAI's chat model to actually analyze the tweets. So next, the aggregated tweets go into an AI chain that analyzes them for top tweets and trending topics. And at the same time, we're sending those trending topics to Perplexity to do the research. And then after both of those are complete, we merge them back together. And then we use AI once again to generate the content ideas. We send a report to ourselves and save all the information inside of Notion. So that's the flow. Let's actually break down what we're doing specifically. So I want to start back here. Let's go into the setX URLs. This is an edit fields node. What we're doing here is we're creating a variable called search query with the value N8N or AI automation or workflow automation. The reason why we're doing this in a separate node instead of doing something like hard coding it is because we're keeping things modular, which is the main point of N8N in the first place. So if we ever want to come back and change things, we can just change this. Instead of AI automation, maybe we want to do AI agency. These are the search queries. So this is what's actually going and being searched on Twitter. Is it AI agency, workflow automation, etc.? What are the search terms that you want? And you can go ahead and come in here at any time and pick those. And notice I'm putting or here. That just allows us to cast a wider net. So I'm monitoring multiple related topics at once. Now that data is going to actually go into our scraper. And for the scraper, using twitterapi.io. So let's go over to twitterapi.io. If you go to the dashboard, you can upload credits. I think this is like $5 or $10. But you get so many credits, and trust me, it's going to take a very long time to run through these. But all you do is copy and paste this API key they give you, go back into N8N. You want to click on authentication, go to generic credential type, and then you want to select header auth, and then you want to click on create new credential. And then once you create the new credential, if we open this up to create a new credential, you might be wondering, well, where do we get that information? Well, if we go back to twitterapi.io and we just go to the docs, scroll down to advanced search, and you can see that it's using the get endpoint. And the reason why is because we're going and grabbing the information. Okay, so we're going and scraping that data from Twitter and pulling it to us. If it was post, then we would be sending it somewhere. But in this case, it's get, so we're going and grabbing it. So you can copy and paste this. And if we go back into N8N, that's where I'm getting this URL from. So if we just go back to the docs, copy this, go back into N8N, paste that URL here. And then if we go to the authentication, generic credential type, auth, header auth, and then go to create new credential. So now we have name. So if we go back to the docs, we can see that the authorization name here is X API key. So just copy this. Let's go back, paste that. And then for this value here, just go back to twitterapi.io, copy and paste this API key, and then just paste that right in here. Then click save, and then that will be created. So now if we look at the query parameters, this is pulling from our set node using this expression. So that double curly bracket is how N8N references data from the previous node. So we're calling back to the previous node, which had all our search queries, right? And we can see that down here, AI automation, workflow automation, no code, all these different search terms that we're going and searching X for. And then as we scroll down, query type is latest, and then the count is 50. Now, caveat with the 50, the Twitter API only allows us to pull, I believe it's 10 at a time. That's the maximum. Now, if we're using something like Apify, it's a little bit more expensive, but technically you can pull as many as you want. I think the limit is still like 50 to 100 tweets, so you might have to experiment with that. But we can just set this up to run every 5 minutes, for example, or every morning at 8 a.m. Or we can just add a loop node amongst a myriad of other things, and that would just allow it to continue to push. So not a big deal. And this finished. So if we look at the output over here, we can see that we got all these tweets, right? We can see ID, the URL of the tweet. So if we take this is Senior DeFi. So let's copy and paste this. Let's look this up. As you can see, because a full AI automation layer for Web3. So this would be considered a trending topic. And because it has 106 comments, so yeah, this is actually a real tweet that it went and pulled, which is awesome. And we can see all the information here. So we can see the followers, following. It gives us a ton of information that we're pulling straight from Twitter's API. So this is all that raw data that we're getting that we now need to analyze. So if we look at the next step, what's happening here is all this information is getting condensed into just one item. Technically, it's already going to automatically be passed through as one item. However, I just use the aggregate node just to make sure. And the reason why is because if I send 5, 10 different items to an AI model and it processes, each tweet individually, it can't see the patterns across all the tweets. It's only going to be looking at the one. So anytime you have a bunch of information, and you can tell by the picture here, the icon, all that information is just being kind of merged together and aggregated, grouped together so that the AI has the opportunity to look at everything instead of just one by one by one. Now in the AI chain node, the Twitter analysis is running. So I have connected here an OpenAI chat model. And if we click into it, we're sending all the tweets into GPT-4 and then asking it to be a social media analyst. And if we pull up the whole prompt, just so you guys can see the whole picture here, your primary goals are to, number 1, identify the most engaging tweets based on specific metrics. Number 2, extract recurring themes or trending topics discussed across tweets. Please perform the following steps. Identify top 5 tweets based on engagement score. We have all this information and we're having it compute this engagement score, which we just created with ChatGPT. Likes divided by 2 times retweets plus 0.5 times replies divided by follower count. Why? Because it's a lot more impressive if someone with 500 followers gets 100 likes on their tweet compared to someone with 1 million followers only getting 100 likes on their tweets, right? So this is the way we're normalizing the audience size. And we can see here 2 times retweets. The retweets are rated higher because that means someone's actually, endorsing to their audience, hey, look, I like this tweet. So it's a lot more powerful. And the second major task here, identified trending topics. So analyze the content, full text or text, of all the tweets provided in the data array. Remember, we're asking it to look at everything. And then we're saying identify keywords, concepts, specific tools like Anyden, Claude, Gemini, or subjects that are mentioned repeatedly or seem to be common themes across multiple tweets. Again, we have to kind of define for the AI, what does trending mean? What's that definition that we're looking for? List the top 3 to 5 most prominent trending topics you discovered. For each topic, provide a 3 to 4 sentence description. And if you guys want to grab this whole prompt, I have it down in my free school community as well. So we're using the OpenAI chat model for this analysis. And then we're using a structured output parser to make sure that all the information is output in JSON. So what we're doing is we're saying, give me an array that has these exact fields. So we have rank, tweet ID, text, the actual text of the tweet, the like count, the engagement score. And why does this matter? Well, because later in the workflow, we need to programmatically access this data. So if the AI just returns things like the top tweet is about XYZ, then we would have to parse it ourselves. But making sure that we have a structured output means that it's clean JSON that we can immediately use. And we can see here, it's taking all this information and then giving us the output that we want. Then we have the split out node that's going to output each individual tweet. So we have 5 different items. And then that information is going to be stored here in our Notion document. So after that, then we have the web research section. And we're using Perplexity Researcher to do this. So same thing with the credential, just create a new credential, go to Perplexity, grab the API key and paste that in. And if we open up our prompts for Perplexity, for each of the following trending topics, find and summarize the most recent and credible information available online. Focus on finding insights that are unique, lesser known, and novel. And Perplexity is different from ChatGPT or Claude. So it's specifically designed to search the web in real time and synthesize the information from multiple sources. So it's kind of like having a personal research assistant. So right now it's executing this prompt. And what we have written here is, you're a research assistant for each of the following trending topics. Find and summarize most recent credible information available online. And these topics that we're actually pulling from are coming from right up here. In the Twitter analysis, remember what this prompt said. It said to identify trending topics. So what it's doing is it's taking those 5 tweets and then it's identifying 5 trending topics based on those tweets. Then those trending topics are being sent over here. And now we're telling it, you're a research assistant for each of the following trending topics. Find and summarize the most recent and credible information available online. So now it's going to go and find all the information that it can on those trending topics. And we can see what that output looks like. So we have the topics here, Anyden plus MCP integration for agentic workflows, automated ad creatives with Nano Banana Pro, education, roadmaps, etc., etc. So we have these outputs here. Remember, these are not just random outputs like ChatGPT where it starts to hallucinate and just makes things up. Perplexity is specifically going out to the web. It's going out and searching for things like articles, blog posts, and news stories to go and give us the most accurate information possible. And then after that, all we're doing is we're just going to format that information. So if we open up this prompt, you're a JSON formatting assistant. Your only job is to extract insights from the input text and return them as valid JSON. So all it did was it took the information and then we had that valid JSON on this side. And why do we have this? Because we're then going to be putting it into that Notion document that we created here. So it's AI trending topics, and we can see AI trending topics. They were just added in here. We can see title, visual analogy, key analogy, most benefited niches. So if we click into this, micro content creators and personal brands maintain consistent cross-platform presence. So now we can see the exact same thing was done with this node as was done with this node as well, right? Because we're just getting them into that proper JSON format. So now we can send them to the next step to be merged together. So now they're merged together, but you can see here we still have 2 items. So then we need to use the aggregate node to create 1 item, just like we did back here. So now we have 1 item, and if you remember from earlier, it's so that it can look at all the information within the data set without having to look at one and then look at the other, right? It's looking at all of them together, almost like they're combined. So then in the next step, we have the content brainstorm, and we can see here, you're an elite content strategist who analyzes content, topics, and social conversations. Your task, analyze the provided transcript data from multiple sources, Twitter and Perplexity, and generate 5 strategic content ideas from those 5 trending topics that we found earlier. And we can see over here, rapid automation and time-saving workflows. And it gives us all these ideas. And then we're using that split out node to put the information back into Notion. And if we actually go back into Notion to look at our content ideas, we can see here, we can click on one, the hidden reason why your ad creatives fail, and the 30-second fix with AI pipelines. Now, if we actually scroll over, we have contrarian takes. So to compete, you either burn money on designers or run stale or few creative ads. But actually, you can generate 50 plus ad creatives in 30 seconds by letting AI remix proven templates, no design skills needed. And we also have hooks, which is crazy. Like, we actually have hooks for content. Wait, this changes everything. Ever feel like your entire day disappears managing videos? Fantastic. Then we have key visuals, outros, storylines. We have everything you need: target audience, key patterns, the specific pain points to harp on in your content. So fully stacked. And finally, we're having a report sent straight to our email. And you can see here, you're an expert AI-powered HTML report generator. Your task is to part a complete JSON object containing data from multiple sources and generate a clean, scannable HTML email digest with actionable insights. And again, if you're a beginner, this might look very confusing. So I highly recommend just join the free school community down below, download all of it for free, and then it's going to send us an email with the report that looks like this: your daily AI stories report. So we have this entire report built out for us. Anyden plus MCP integration for agentic workflows. We have all these ideas, and it even says trending topic here. And then the Perplexity research on every single trending topic. So like I said earlier, Twitter API.io does have some limitations as far as how many tweets we can actually extract. However, I'll be dropping a video in the community as to how to make sure it continuously runs. And as always, if you're more serious about learning Anyden and actually building out a proper AI agency where we build automations and we become that middleman for businesses, helping them to adapt to AI, I'll leave a link to my private community down in the description as well. I'll also have my link to book a call down in the description below. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.